What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. Let's dive into the Cincinnati Bengals because I saw this tweet from my buddy Jake Rosenberg, who used to be Howie Roseman's right-hand contract negotiator for well over a decade. At the end of my time there, he came in, and up until last draft, so a little under a year ago, he worked with Howie Roseman. And he had worked in finance before, and then he got into contract negotiation, and he was running point on all this stuff for a decade plus. And he had a tweet yesterday that, let me pull it up right now, that got my brain moving. So we started texting. Here was the tweet. Reducing current cap numbers through extensive use of proration. Let me say that again. Proration, to prorate the numbers, provides a team free options with literally no downside. To purposely decide to not prorate is indefensible. Help me understand the other side to this if I'm missing something. He's essentially saying when you sign a big contract and you take the signing bonus, the guaranteed money, it makes no sense to not take that 50 million, 80 million, 100 plus million, obviously with the quarterbacks, and prorate it over the life of the deal. So early on in those contracts, the cap number, like a Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb last year, is actually much smaller than it would have been if they just would have played on their fifth-year option. That's the benefit you have of signing these massive contracts is you can push it all down. The 49ers and Eagles and Browns and these teams paying massive cash for these contracts over the last couple of years have made a living on doing that because it enables you to have high-priced players but still have wiggle room to compete and sign other guys. But the Cincinnati Bengals, because I didn't quite know what he meant, so we started texting about it. He said, well, look at Ja'Marr Chase and Tee Higgins contracts. Their cap number in the first year is not very low. And I don't pretend to be some capologist, so I had to do some digging. I went to guys like Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, who signed enormous contracts, a lot like Ja'Marr Chase last season. Here were their cap numbers, not their actual contracts, but the way it impacts the cap to enable you to pick up 5%, 10%, whatever, more space to do more business with other people. And you never know. It doesn't mean you have to sign someone right now, but something happens in the season, maybe a trade plays itself out, maybe over the course of the next year because you can roll over cap space, you can make an aggressive deal. Because the Cincinnati Bengals, when they signed two players and took this victory lap on social media like it's some novel concept to pay one of the best players in the league and another guy who's obviously really good is some crowning achievement. The more and more that I thought about it was kind of fucking embarrassing. This is not money that you've had to like put in hard work to generate. You're part of a partnership that generates billions of dollars. And whether you know what you're doing or not in the business of the NFL, if you own the team, you get a free $450 million every year. And I don't know the last time you checked, but the salary cap has never sniffed the amount of money that they're getting from these television partners. And that doesn't even factor in anything game day, tickets, all that other stuff, which the Bengals aren't going to be the highest team in the league, but that's just free money. And the other thing is that when you factor in the Bengals who always push back, we're cheap, that's bullshit, we paid Joe Burrow. Again, this is money, whether you win one game or 15 games every year is coming to you no matter what. And because of the partnership agreement that you're in with the players, you have to split, I forget the exact number, 49, 50, 51%, has to go to them. So like you are in a partnership not only with the other teams in the league, but then with the Players Association. So like money comes in, then you got to give half of it away, right? Now, you can control how much of that cash is given to certain players. It's why the crazy part about the business of the NFL is like the money has to be paid out, yet as a player and your agent, you have to fight for those dollars. But I think with the Cincinnati Bengals, you go, well, listen, you give them all this money, you're in this win now mode, you can get their cap numbers really small. You can extend Trey Hendrickson. Hell, you could trade your first round pick for some sweet player, right? You could be really aggressive. But last year, Justin Jefferson, so I did some digging. I did a little, typed in some names, Chat GPT, contracts, spot track, and I looked at Justin Jefferson. Last year signed a massive, the biggest deal ever. His cap number in 2024 was $8.6 million. His cap number in this upcoming season is $15 million. CeeDee Lamb, basically the exact same. $8.7 million last year, and this year $15.3 million. Now, look at the Minnesota Vikings, for example. They had all that cap space, even though they're paying this guy all that money. They roll it over this year, and they're super aggressive, and they start buying players. Then I look at Ja'Marr Chase's number. So those guys, in their first year of their big contract, $8 million, 8.6 and 8.7. Ja'Marr Chase is 23.5. And in their second year, both those guys are 15 million. Ja'Marr Chase is $26 million. So instead of prorating it out, they've had bigger cap numbers. Why? Because the faster you get to that 100%, you can be like, we don't have any more cash to spend. We don't have any more cap space to sign any players. Because ultimately, the cap space, it's less about that and more about Mike Brown just giving out more signing bonuses to people. It's why it's so embarrassing about that victory lap that they took on social media. It's like, yeah, guys, you signed one of the best players you've ever drafted in Ja'Marr Chase, and you gave him a lot of money, but then you didn't manipulate the cap like every fucking team worth their salt because you tried to like have your cake and eat it too. Like, hey, we want credit, but we're not going to sign anyone else. And then Tee Higgins. Tee Higgins' cap number in 2025, this upcoming season, is actually bigger than Ja'Marr Chase. Now, Tee Higgins didn't sign a contract like Chase, like Jefferson, or CeeDee Lamb. You could compare his contract much more like Brandon Ayuk. Well, last year, Brandon Ayuk, who was going to have to play on his fifth-year option, the moment they extended him, his cap number last year was $5.7 million. And Brandon Ayuk, who's driving the Niners nuts because they think he got over on them, and they would trade him, but they can't get any value back. His cap number in 2025 is $11 million. So Higgins, while his cap number does go down in this next season, it's still almost $20 million. So what they have done is they did pay these two guys, but they've also kept their cap numbers high. So it's like, okay, Joe, like, yeah, you got enough juice, you can boss us around, and we'll take care of your two guys. But we're not going like Eagles, Niners, Vikings. We're just going to give out all this cash to all these other players. Because at the end of the day, we are cheap. It's in our blood. I've said this forever. Super rich people that are really frugal. And I got no problem if it's the patriarch, Sam Walton. I just listened to Made in America. It's like the story of Walmart. Notoriously cheap, right? But like that's his baby. He started from scratch. He can still relate to the times when they had no money. Like, I'm sorry, Mike Brown, this is a family fucking business. You didn't buy this team. And now you guys have more money than you know what to do with. So still doing stuff like this, you're an unserious franchise. You really are. You're an unserious franchise that drafts pretty well. Obviously, Burrow fell in your lap. Nailed that one. Ja'Marr Chase, you get credit on that one because you could have taken Penei Sewell. Good pick. Tee Higgins, excellent second round pick. But you want to have like milk and cookies because you gave out some money that gets handed you through the league partners. Like, I'm sorry, not doing that. And when you factor in the numbers, like you don't need to be Howie Roseman here to go, they're kind of manipulating the books here, not in a way to take advantage of the situation like the Eagles have done forever. Why? Because their owner's willing to give out big cash, which the Niners have done the last couple of years, which they went 6-11. Their owner freaked out. The Bengals ain't doing that, and they'll never do that. Why? Because as long as the Brown family owns the team, they will do stuff like this. Honestly, kind of embarrassing. Props to those two guys for getting what they deserve. But, and listen, the other thing with Higgins is like, I like the guy, but like you want all this credit. I think a lot of people would go, is this the right business move? Or you're kind of getting, bitched around by Joe Burrow, which I totally understand. You don't want to piss him off, but then you do it, and then you do it in a way where your team, the best case scenario over the next couple of years, can't be as good as they should because you just refuse, I don't know, to prorate the contracts. Man, it's a disease, man. Frugality with the super rich who did not earn the money is just, it's just deep in their soul. nothing you can do to fix that disease.